William Morrow and HarperAudio present A Wedding in the Lowcountry, a novel by Preslaysa Williams, performed by Carmen Jewel Jones. To the campus ministry students that I had the privilege of serving at 2 HBCUs. Some may not want to see you, but I do, and so does God. Keep the faith. Chapter 1. Avila Houston would never make it on Broadway, not anymore, but her daughter had a fighting chance, and that was all that mattered. I can carpool to practice with Jenna. You don't have to take me here if you have to work an extra shift this evening. 12-year-old Ebony cut her eyes at her mother and adjusted the tote bag on her shoulder. The extra shift was optional. This is more important, and besides, I like to make sure you get here safely. Avila stepped through the doors of George Street Playhouse. She made a mental note to tell Ebony about the dangers for a young girl in hanging around New Brunswick by herself, but Ebony interrupted. Most of the theater kids carpool. Not from what Avila had observed, but she knew that Ebony didn't want to be around her a whole lot. That preteen stage was kicking in. You ready for today? Avila asked, trying to ease the situation. I'm looking forward to seeing you rehearse the new scene. I think it will be a good audition piece for you once you land a talent agent. Ebony sighed. Not trying to rush you or anything, love. Just saying, you have a gift. I don't want it to go to waste. I know. The contents of Ebony's tote bag rustled. You'll be amazing today. Thanks. Thanks. All Avila got was a thanks in return. It was better than nothing. Ebony's steps quickened as she headed down the narrow hall to the Murphy room, the space that was reserved for rehearsals. Avila knew that underneath the tough veneer was a little girl who was trying to find her way. She had been through a lot in her 12 years of life. Ebony attended St. Martin de Porres Catholic School, located in the upper-middle-class part of Edison, but she wasn't part of the in crowd. The in crowd consisted of those whose parents raised the most money for the school, or who made tens of thousands of dollars in donations every year. The children of those parents snubbed Ebony, but Avila encouraged her daughter to shine in other ways. Theater was one of them. Avila tucked her keys in her back pocket, stepped inside the theater, and headed to the front row. The lights on the stage were gradually getting brighter, which indicated that class was about to begin. Avila's tummy flipped, and she wasn't even the person who would be on the stage. Then she glanced at Ebony, who was still as a rock. You okay? Uh-huh. That uh-huh meant she was nervous. The time on Avila's cell phone read 3:53. Baby girl, you have 7 minutes until your acting class starts. Use that nervousness for good. I'm going to be here in the front row, quietly rooting for you. I really don't need you to stay. Avila crumbled inside. Like I said, work can wait. Can't a mother watch her talented daughter on stage? She layered her voice with a thick coat of guilt. Ebony set her back on the empty chair next to her, and it tilted on its side. I guess so, she said, mumbling, then made her way to the stage. Avila sat and eyed the mail, which she had shoved in her bag in a rush to make it here on time. A few months ago, the children had mentioned that it was cringy for the parents to sit front row center. Other moms gathered, but they settled in the rows behind Avila. Those mothers never included her in their suburban chatter, so Avila kept to herself. One of the mothers spotted Avila and gave a half smile, but that was all she was going to get from them. Henrietta, the acting instructor, was flipping through the pages of what was probably a script while the kids gathered on stage. The thick red velvet stage curtain shimmered under the lights. Ebony stood in a group with some other students, going over lines and giggling. A brunette girl whispered something to a boy, and they glanced at Ebony and laughed. Even from a distance, Avila could feel Ebony's upset, and being a mother, she figured the worst. Avila wanted to tell that girl to cut it out. If she did that, she'd probably look out of
Sample complete. Ready to continue?